Stay. Yeah, so.
Well, we're back here in the Mallard Larkin. Just on the first hike, hiking down to Sawtooth Creek. Man, it feels good. It's a long haul in here, but it feels good to be back here. I love this place. Yep,
We were back in the Mallard Larkins. This place had stolen my heart when we were here 3 years ago. So far we had walked the same trail in that we did then, but this time we were going to a couple new lakes and one old favorite. We watered up on Northbound Creek and then set out to make the climb up to the lake.
The trail is a little overgrown.
Our spirits were high, as they usually are when we're setting out on a new adventure. We didn't know it then, but the overgrown trail was a sign of things to come. This was supposed to be one of our easier trips. But from my experience, I've come to learn that there are only two directions in the Mallard Larkin: up and down.
We're headed up to Skyland Lake. Skyland Lake. Not too bad.
We got to the lake early and had camp set up with a good chunk of the day left to settle in. This trip was special for me. We had a couple of guys who made the trek up from Utah to go on this trip. I definitely don't get to see these guys enough. It was perfect to have the afternoon to hang out, play games, and sip on some whiskey. We had 3 more days in these mountains before we had to go back to the world. I was gonna make sure to enjoy every minute of it.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
We took our time getting out of camp. The mileage for this trip was low, although we would be climbing every day. Eventually, it was time to leave Skyland Lake.
All right, we're about packed up and ready to pull out of Skyland Lake here. Really nice campsite, really nice lake. And we're heading over to Heart Lake. Got to climb the ridge right away. I think this might be our shortest hike of the trip. Maybe, I can't remember.
Now we climb.
Now we climb.
It wasn't even a mile out of camp before the trail disappeared.
You see a trail up there, boss? Not much. I mean, there's a cut log right there.
We knew that we needed to get up on the ridge above the lake, so we went straight up the mountain until we stumbled on an overgrown trail.
There is a trail here somewhere. Oh, there's a piece. Been a while since this one's been traveled.
Though it was overgrown and difficult to follow, it was the trail. We took it slow and had to adjust our route a few times, but we were getting there.
You can just see Skyland Lake down there. You can see the Mallard lookout from here. Be there tomorrow.
It was slow going, but we were making progress. Once we got high enough, the trail became easier to follow. We had been climbing all day, but the real climbing was still ahead of us.
Boy.
The trail got really steep getting up to the Heart Pass trail. It seemed like getting up to a pass itself. From there, it was more climbing to get up to the Heart Lake cutoff.
Well, we're still on the Heart Pass trail here, almost to where we have an overlook of Northbound Lake. Mosquitoes are thick. So I'm guessing less than a half mile to the cutoff. Now we head down to Heart. Feeling like I could jump in right now, but I know that lake's gonna be cold. Little shot of Northbound Lake down there. Back to Heart Lake. Been wondering if I'd ever get back here. Here I am. Well, we have made it to Heart Lake. It was a little tougher hike than I recall last time we came in, but bugs are thick. What are you gonna do? It was a long day of bushwhacking and climbing, but we'd made it. Heart Lake was just as beautiful as I remembered it. I love this lake. And the bugs are off the hook today. Just gotta try to keep moving. I mean, there's a swarm around me. So hopefully we'll be pulling out of here soon.
Keep landing in between.
That morning was in the top 2 for the worst mosquitoes I've ever had to deal with. Once everybody was up, we didn't stay in camp long. All right, we are on the Heart Lake Trail.
We've passed the view of Northbound Lake. We're not to the cutoff for that lake yet. Mosquitoes appear to be marginally better. We passed the junction with Northbound Lake. Should be coming on the Martin Creek junction here pretty quick, then it's new trail. And the next stop will probably be turn off to go see the Mallard Lookout.
Once we passed the junction with the Skyland Lake trail, the views started opening up.
Might have some weather closing in. Catch us.
It wasn't too long before we hit the side trail to go up to the Mallard Lookout. We dropped our packs at the junction and started up.
You can see the lookout there. We're on the side trail to the Mallard Lookout.
Yeah, it is still pretty far up there.
They.
You know, water, they've got a rack over, but it doesn't look real simple. I noticed a pan of water outside your door.
Yeah, that's not like him at all.
We made it all the way up there. Now it was time to rest up a bit and enjoy it.
6.
There you
Oh,
go.
and
And rolling.
Nope. You got 7, 8.
Nope, see.
Maybe.
11, we're gonna walk out. You want some fun?
No,
They're sugar free.
are they? As far as the eye can see in any direction, it's just mountains. Nothing else. Mountains.
With our side trip complete, it was time to get back to business.
Alright, I think we just crested what felt like a little pass there. And we're on the final descent into FAWN Lake now. Quite a bit more climbing here since the Mallard Lookout than we thought. The weather's kind of held out for us.
I wasn't expecting much because it was the smallest lake we were going to, but FAWN Lake was amazing. We even spotted a goat high up on the ridge above the lake. It was the last night of the trip, and that realization was setting in.
Like peg. It was a perfect place to spend our last night. We had an incredible campsite and even got a sunset. We were hiking out today. The plan was to hike down out of FAWN Lake and link up with the Northbound Lake Trail. We knew that we had to finish the trip with the steep climb back up to Sawtooth Saddle, but for the first part of the hike, we'd be going downhill.
Well, we found the trail. Walking along a ridge yet, haven't hit the switchbacks. Lots of blowdown. Tough trail for the day you're supposed to go downhill.
We lost the trail immediately after leaving camp. After bushwhacking uphill, we found it again. I was having flashbacks of hiking out of Skyland Lake. As it turned out, this brush was much tougher to get through.
This is the trail.
We never lost the trail again, but we had to fight our way down.
Well, we've linked up with the main trail on Northbound Creek. We're just pushing forward to this first camp down here by Sawtooth Creek. Water up, and we'll make that big ass climb out of here. That downhill really took it out of me. That was tough.
We watered up and ate lunch at the camp we stopped at on the first day. There was only one thing left: make the climb out.
Well, we've started up the climb from Sawtooth Creek. Final climb of the trip. Got a ways to go still. Got beer at the finish line. Climb never ends. I can see the saddle though. I am close. I can see Andy's truck.